Tim Walz is amongst the US politicians pushing for tighter regulation of ticket resellers. The Minnesota governor signed a bill earlier this year to protect concert goers against junk fees. And in Britain, the Labour government is also considering new restrictions on ticket resales. Sir Keir Starmer has pledged to cap prices and regulate platforms. This is Chris Miller. He is the global managing director of Viagogo and says that would be a big mistake. It says it'll leave fans disappointed, encourage illegal activity. Before we get to you, sir, to talk about tickets, this business of Taylor Swift, interesting. The promoter, and we think it's the promoters that have cancelled it because they say they can't guarantee the safety. Now, we understand that everybody's going to get their money back in short order. But it does prove it depends where you buy your ticket from, how you get your money back. If I bought it from a scalper outside the front door or on a credit card that somebody else had bought it from, I could be in trouble here, couldn't I?
Yeah, that's right, Richard. First of all, thanks for having me. And obviously, it's I just heard this story myself. It's devastating. We participated in that market, and there were thousands and thousands of people that use Viagogo and StubHub here in the United States to gain access to that event, and that's exactly the reason why we exist. We exist to protect fans that want to get into these events, and when we are a regulated marketplace, we do have all the safety measures in place, and that's exactly right. If someone who is desperate to go to this event wanted to use somebody on the street or social media, you're out of luck. And so obviously every single customer that bought a ticket on our website is going to get their money back in full.
Right. So, but you are a third party in a sense to the transaction.
We're just simply the marketplace. So just think of us as just there to make sure that everything is safe and secure. So when we started StubHub in the net, go ahead.
But when I remember, the Taylor Swift concerts in Australia, the Taylor Swift concerts in the UK, when you start seeing prices becoming obscene multiples of the face of the ticket face, don't get me wrong, capitalist, free marketeer,
marketplaces. Yes.
Yeah, I understand that. I just sort of think when the price when $100 ticket gets to 1,000, is there something wrong?
Well, so first of all, it's important to look at the entire market and to understand how tickets are ultimately distributed initially. So look no further than the Olympics and all the empty seats. As great as those games are, there's scores and scores of empty seats that are around, and this is really about the distribution of the tickets. Number one is that buyer behavior about going to these events, whether it's a bucket list event like the Olympics or Taylor Swift in Australia or in Vienna or any other place, you're not going to change that because there's a price cap. And that ultimately they're going to go and look for these events. We're merely there just to make sure that everything is secure and everyone gets into the event.
But there's two things here. You've got a question of a price cap, and then you've got the question of a restricted distribution channel. In other words, you can't have a resale. How many times have I seen on tickets, resale will void the ticket, etc., etc.
Right. Yeah. Olympics is a great example of where things are overly restricted, right? And so you've got a circumstance where it's in France, it's in Paris, it's in a global destination where millions and millions of people want to go. And unfortunately, they've decided to not offer a resale service or allow the market to do what it's going to do. And that disincentivizes people from actually buying the ticket in the first place. If the ticket itself was actually transferable or resellable, then that gives them a lot more comfort to actually make that purchase on the primary market.
So what restrictions would you accept as being desirable on resale and transfer to prevent, or again, I'm talking about gerrymandering the free market, but to make it more acceptable?
First of all, having more transparency in the market is entirely important. And making sure that we understand, well, how many events are actually going on sale? How many tickets are actually making it to the general public? Most of the time, if you look at the Olympics, you don't even know how many tickets are actually making it to the general public. And most of the time in these high demand events, it's very, very limited in nature. So more transparency, more information available to the consumers so they can make their decisions for themselves. And a lot of times when it comes down to price, let the buyer decide. If they want to make the decision to go to an event and pay a certain amount of money.
But stopping rampant speculation that is going to push prices higher, thus cutting out legitimate fans or people just want to go. How do you stop rampant speculation?
You have to allow, in our position, it's ultimately making sure that the security and order is around it. So you got to make sure that the market allows it to do what it does, because the most important thing is the prices go up and down. It's very volatile, and you have to wait and see to determine what's ultimately best for you.
Number one ticket event at the moment. Put the Olympics aside. What's the number one ticket event at the moment?
It's been Taylor Swift. It's been an anomaly on its own.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Richard.
Come back, please. Thank you.